मरघट तक है तेरी कहानी, पग पग प्यारे। दंगल 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 दंगल, सूरज तेरा चढ़ता ढलता गर्दिश में करते हैं तारे। दंगल 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 दंगल।
Great morning, my dear friends. Bhupesh Anand again, and in today's lecture number 5, we will be starting with a most important learning outcome number E, and we are doing fixed income securities, defining elements, first reading of fixed income subject. This subject is again a very important subject, and within this subject, in this reading, these two last learning outcomes, that is learning outcome number E, which I am going to start today, that describe how cash flows of fixed income securities are structured. This is a very important learning outcome, and I will be devoting 2 lectures in this learning outcome. This is lecture number 5, and I will be devoting lecture number 6 also in this learning outcome, because this is very important and somewhat lengthy. So please take out your registers, because today we will be starting something with, some practical part, and take out your calculators also. You have to write on those slides which I have written for you. So the first point which I have written for you is, God always helps those who help themselves. God helps those who help themselves. So first step is, you have to help yourself, then only some energy will help you. Fixed income securities, defining elements, lecture number 5, learning outcome number 5, E, describe how cash flows off. When I say cash flow, it means when a borrower has borrowed a fund from a bondholder, from the lender, from the investor. Now this borrower has to repay that, that this borrower has to repay to the bondholder, to the investor. So how these cash flows, the cash flow means which this borrower has to repay as coupon payments or as principal payments. Now this borrower has to repay as principal payments as well as coupon payments. Now how he is paying that, and how the structure of a bond, how cash flows are structured or planned on the basis of structure of a bond. So today we'll be starting with, because we can have different types of structures of bond. Similarly, coupon payment, because again there is an outflow from borrower's point of from borrower's pocket to lenders. So which type of coupon structure it is, whether it is step-up coupon, whether it is credit-linked coupon, whether it is inflation coupon, which type of coupon it is. Now it depends upon that. So the structure of a bond and the structure of a coupon payment, both can help us in structuring the cash flows. And above that, we will be discussing with sinking fund provisions, that whether the borrower is also maintaining sinking fund. So these will be the 3 basic concepts today in today's lecture. So please prepare this point number 1, because this will give you a whole idea of this learning outcome. So I have prepared a summary for that. In this point number 1, I have prepared a summary that what we will be doing in these 2 lectures, lecture number 5 and lecture number 6. So the first point, which is very important, is, if you read this, if you write down this point number 1, there will be no need of CFA curriculum as well as Quasar, because I have written this slide by taking into account both those materials. So just have a look on this and have a preparation of this cash flows of fixed income. Now we are talking from the point of view of borrower. The borrower, ACC Cement has borrowed the funds, Apollo Tyre has borrowed the funds, McDonald's has borrowed the funds. The company who has borrowed the funds, or who has issued the bonds to the holders. Now this company cash flow, that is cash outflow, consists of principal and interest. Now it means this cash flow depends upon the principal payment structure and coupon payment structure. So I have prepared a 3 arrows: bond structure, sinking fund provisions, and coupon structure. So we will be discussing with these 3 structures with the help of this the flow chart. So please prepare for that. Within bond structure, we can have different types of structures. Bullet structure. because bullet structure has its own distinct features. So we have to see whether the bond is a bullet structure or a full amortization structure or a partial amortization structure or a balloon structure, because partial and balloon are same. And next last is barbell, that you will be doing in CFA level number 2, but still because it is related with that, so I have written for that also barbell structure. So I have written 5 structures. When I say 5, I mean partial amortizing structure is same as balloon structure. And second is sinking fund provisions, and third is on the basis of coupon structures also my cash flows are dependent. Cash flows can be structured. Now what can be different type of coupons? Floating rate notes. I will be discussing in detail what is the meaning of floating rate notes. Step up coupons. Step up coupons. If the structure is step up, then my cash flow will be structured on the basis of that. Deferred coupons, tips. We will be discussing with inflation, inflation security, credit linked coupons, double jeopardy bonds, and inverse floaters. So these are the 8 types of coupon structures. Now in CFA level number 1, in fixed income, it is a highly testable area. In all these, at least you should be aware of what are the features of these coupon structures. And similarly, those 4 or 5 bond principal payment structures. So I will be in today's lecture, will be starting with firstly with the bond structures, that how the principal of that bond or how the principal of that loan is repaid. So first point which I want to start is named as a bullet structure. Now bullet structure is one of the easiest structure, a very simple structure in which the payment of by the borrower is at the time of maturity, not in between, not in the beginning, not in middle, not in only at the end of the maturity, when that bond matures. At that time and in the last year, along with the interest, company also pays, borrower also pays the principal amount. That is named as bullet structure. So this is a lump sum structure, So this is the lump sum payment. This is the lump sum payment by the bond holder, by the borrower to the bond holder. So firstly, write down, my dear friends, please sit straight. Second point, A point, bullet structure. A bond with bullet structure pays. I have prepared by my own hand these slides, I could have given you the PPTs, presentations, but it will not serve your purpose. Once you write down, the whole idea will be in your mind. So please write down A point. A bond with bullet structure pays coupon or interest periodically as per the due dates, as per the coupon payments, and repays. The important word is repays entire amount. The important word is repays entire principal value at maturity. It means we are not paying in between, we are not paying in the beginning, we are paying it at the time of maturity. So to explain that, I have taken an example. Suppose there is a bond with a par value of $1,000 and a coupon rate of 10%, and the life is 5 years. So I have provided a timeline for you. This company will be paying $100 as coupon payment for 5 years. But in the end of the 5th year, this company will be paying the full amount also. That $1,000 will be paid at lump sum at the end of 5th year. So if I see from the lender's point of view, it is a highly risky venture, because in 5 years the credit rating of that company might also decline, and it will be sometimes very difficult for the borrower to pay the whole amount at the end of 5th year. So from analyst point of view also, this is a very risky venture. You're getting my point? So those bonds with bullet structure, there is a cash outflow of principal as a lump sum on the maturity, and from lender's point of view and from analyst point of view, it is somewhat involves more risk. More risk is there. So just write on B point. I prepared the bullet structure like this also. In case of bullet structure, B point, there is a high cash flow in the last year. From lender's perspective, the bond bounced bullet structure bond is considered as more risky. Now, why more risky? Now, I have written the example of MTech Auto. This company has issued FCCBs, foreign currency convertible bonds. Now, these foreign currency convertible bonds have two options. Either they can be converted into equity, or they can be directly repaid out. So it depends upon the bond holder. Now, supposedly there was a rumor that this company could not able to pay the amount as a lump sum. So in this is the real case study that bondholders opted the option of payment at the time of maturity rather than going for the conversion to equity, and there was a huge default because it is very difficult for a borrower to pay the huge amount of lump sum amount at the time of maturity, because within those 5 or 7 or 10 or 8 years, that the tenure of that, the credit rating may decline, and the operations may have an up and down, because it depends upon the recession and boom of different economic cycles. So it is a risky venture. What I want to say is, in case of bullet structure, it is a risky venture. I am coming to next type of structure named as amortizing structure. Amortizing structure means we are amortizing. We are paying principal at every payment. It means on every payment by the borrower to the lender, some amount of principal is paid along with interest. So amortizing can be divided into two parts: full amortizing and partial amortizing. So please write down a point. Amortizing means where principal amount goes on reducing. We are paying principal as well as interest both. So I will be telling you how we can calculate that installment. It is similar to housing loans, for example, you have taken a housing loan and you have to repay that. So in that case, equal monthly installment will be calculated, and that equal monthly installment composite of two parts. One is the principal amount, and second is the interest amount. So that we will be discussing. Please write on B point. A bond with an amortizing structure repays part of its principal at each of the principal date. Now, this amortizing can be of two types: full amortizing and partial amortizing. When I say full amortizing, it means the full amount of loan will be amortized equally. So a full amortizing bond structure makes equal payment throughout bond life, and partial means we are paying some part in equal and some part at the end of 5th year, at the end of maturity. Please prepare this flow chart. A full amortizing bond structure makes equal payments throughout the bond's life, and a partial amortizing structure has a balloon payment. I will be telling you what is the meaning of a balloon. Now, because when I say, when there is a mixture of full amortizing as well as bullet structure, when I mix these two, it will be named as partial, and the name and the synonym of partial is also named as balloon type structure. So I have taken an example to explain full as well as partial. I have assumed that let there be a bond of $500 million, and let the interest rate coupon it be 10%, and let the maturity be 5 years. In case of full amortizing, I will be repaying this $500 million principal along with interest, along with coupon, in equal annual installments or equal installments. Now, for that, I have to firstly calculate how much is the equal amount which a borrower has to pay. So please take out your calculators, because when I say calculator, I can calculate PMT payment, that how much is the equal payment. So I will be using TBM rule. So with these figures, 500, so second clear TBM, second clear TBM. 500 is the present value, 10 is the IY, 5 as the N, compute PMT, and that is coming to be 131.89. 131.89. I have written the steps also. Please see, I have calculated for you 131.89. Please check out your calculators. In full amortizing structure, we repay the whole amount of principal in different installments. So please prepare this timeline. Equal installments can be calculated with the help of following steps. Second clear TVM 500 PV, 10 as IY, 5 as N, and then compute per payment, that is 131.89. Now this 131.89 is composite of two parts. One is the principal and second is the interest. So I have prepared a timeline for you: 131.89, 131.89, 131.89. Now it is similar to the amount which we pay generally in case of housing loan. Now in case, it means in case of full amortizing, we pay the whole amount equally throughout the life of that bond. But if it is a case of partial amortizing, now in partial amortizing we have to see that how much amount we are paying in between and how much amount is to be paid at the maturity as a bullet. So supposingly $350 million or 350 million, as the case may be, we are paying equally, and $150 we will be paying at the end of 5th year. So how to calculate this? Now again, for $350 million, we have to calculate the equal installments. And when I say equal installments, again, second clear TVM, 350 is present value, 5 as N, 10 as IY, compute PMT. So I have done the same steps for you. So please write down and please take out your calculator, because it will be more beneficial if you just press the buttons and calculate that how much is the installment amount. It means 92.32 this company will be paying in 5 years. Now this 92.32 is composite of two parts: principal as well as principal of 350, that is again divided, principal as well as interest, and in the last year they will be also paying that $150, the balance amount of principal. So we will be calculating the future value of that. I have calculated the future value of that how much will be the future value of $150 which is to be paid by the borrower to the lender at the end or at the time of maturity. So just see, at the time of maturity, future value of $150 will be paid. So again I will be using the steps as per the help of calculator. Second clear TVM 150 PV 10 IY 5 as N, and I will be computing future value, that is coming to be 241.57. It means in case of partial amortizing structure, I have used the concept of bullet as well as full amortizing. So it is also named as balloon structure. So I have written that in star form. Please write down the stars. Partial amortizing is a mixture of bullet plus full amortizing. Bullet plus full amortizing. Now we are in the last structure of bond, that is again in CFA level number 2, but still because we are discussing, so I will be telling you barbell structure. So I have discussed bullet structure. It means I am doing that how my cash flows will be structured, how the cash flows of a borrower will be structured. Now that cash flows depends upon two: the principal, how you are paying principal, and how you are paying coupon, because these are the two outflows. And how we are paying principal, it depends upon the bond structure, and how we are paying the coupon, it depends upon the coupon structure. So we are doing bond structure, we have discussed bullet structure, we have discussed full amortizing structure, we have discussed partial amortizing structure, and partial is also named as balloon structure. Now we are on barbell structure. When I say barbell, it means when there is a huge outflow in the middle. I repeat, when there is a huge outflow in the middle of the life of the bond, that type of structure is named as barbell structure. Again, that is in CFA level number 2, level 2. So still, I have told you that because we have to cover this. So in today's lecture number 5, I have covered that how my cash flows will be structured on the basis of structure of a bond. So in next lecture number 6, I will be discussing with sinking fund, provisions as well as coupon structure. That how these, if a borrower is maintaining sinking fund, what is the meaning of a sinking fund, and how it will be helping in structuring my cash flows. Similarly, which type of coupon structure we are following. Hope you have enjoyed this lecture. Be happy, be jolly, be cheerful. Be happy, be jolly.